So this year, this is our main tomato row. We have the round type. This one has a blemish. And then here are some Romas. These came from a store, not as a plant, but from the produce section. I actually bought the tomatoes, and I'll show you how it came about to be plants. Here's what you do. I had tomatoes from the store that were going bad, and this one is one from the garden that doesn't look so good either. Who wants to eat this? So you cut the sliver, put it in a pot, you top it off with soil, just like that, and you keep it watered, and in about 10 days, 2 weeks, you have little tomato plants, and you just separate them, plant them out, and take care of them. Now I need to mention that these may be cross-pollinated, so you may not exactly get what you wanted, but they're still tomatoes. They're free. Now this cherry tomato I bought as a plant, and it's obviously on its way out. It made really good cherry tomatoes, so look, another benefit of the baggie, it falls in the bag, not on the ground. If you wonder about those bags, I have a video about them too. I'll link it below. So because I did not want to lose a plant with such yummy cherries, I cloned it. This is the exact same plant. The exact same plant. It was the other plant. So I'll show you how the cloning goes. First you need to find a suitable piece for cloning. So this is the end tip of the tomato, and this would be perfectly good. I would cut it here, but I don't want to cut the tips off. So what we're going to do, we'll find a better piece. So here's a good example. This is where the leaf comes out, and from the crotch out of the leaf, you have a new shoot coming up. This is what you want to cut right here. See, same scenario here, but this one's not big yet. Here's the leaf. Here comes the new shoot out. Eventually this is big enough where you can cut it. So same here. This is the whole thing. Leaf, leaf, and the shoot comes out here. Eventually this will grow long, just like the other set, and set tomatoes if you're lucky, but we're going to cut this right here. Here's our clone. Gosh, got a little windy. And I got something black so you can see these tiny little hairs. They are all potential roots. But what we have to do now is clean it up. So we'll cut all this off. This one too. Another one here. And even this. And then we're left with a piece like that. The next thing is really complicated. With this cleaned up cutting, we need some water. Put the cutting in and wait. This takes anywhere from 1 to 2, 3 weeks, depending how big you want the roots. Let's see what they look like. These have been in the water, I think, 3 weeks. I let them go longer than I usually would, but they have a nice root structure. They are ready to be planted. See, from all these little nodules where I earlier said where the hairs are, it gets these bumps, bumpy things, and then the roots come out. This is also why you want to plant tomatoes deep. The deeper they're in, the better root structure they will have, because they root all along up the stem, even if you plant them out of a pot where there haven't been roots yet. As simple as that. There's another way too. This is my really nice Everglade cherry. They're so good. Oh, listen to that bird. So I want lots of them because they make easy salsa. You just cook them until they pop. You don't have to peel anything or whatever. And so you do the same thing. You find the leaf and a shoot coming out. Do we have another example? Oh yeah, here's one. See what happens when they get too big. This is the whole thing. And this is hard to see. There's a leaf here on the stem. And then the shoot came out, and this shoot is now long. So it'll make cherries. So I took these. I cut the leaves off just like I did with the others. And I stuck them in a pot. Instead of water, you can root them very well directly in the soil. Can you see this guy? This is doing good. The drawback is you gotta keep watering them. This is oregano, and this is a surprise amaranth that came up. I have no idea where the seed came from. Isn't that beautiful? This little guy is from the same cherry tomato, and I stuck him in at the same time, but as you can tell, I haven't taken that good care of it. It's hard in that heat to keep up watering, especially in the black pots. But eventually it'll catch on. The Everglade cherries are very forgiving. There's some volunteer radish that seeded out. That's it. That's how I keep tomatoes alive for 2 growing seasons in Florida. And by the way, that method works for basil too. This is ready to go in the ground or in a pot or wherever. It works for many things. You can Google what roots in water. Happy growing, everyone. As an afterthought, if you want to save tomato seeds, you have to let them ferment. These are itty bitty cherry tomato variety. I think it's called Tiny Tom or something. I grew them inside under the grow light during winter. You need to let it ferment until it stinks. Plain out stinks. Of course, you squish the tomato first before you put it in, and then you take the solids out. The seeds will sink to the bottom. You rinse it a couple times with clear water, and then you can dry your seeds. That way you get them through winter. Seed saving for tomatoes. When we put them in the pot that's sliver, it'll ferment right there in place. That's why it's important you keep it moist watered. That was it.